What's up, friends? Welcome to a Daily Dub, a snifferific episode where I'm going to talk about me a little bit. I am really pleased with the amount of comments and responses that my first episode of Daily Dub did yesterday. I've already got a whole list of things that people like to talk about. Please keep those coming in the comments. Leave a question, ask for a topic, whatever, and I'll try to answer it on an episode in the future. So there's a few folks that kind of ask some things that I'll tie together. So the first thing I'm going to start with is from MJR 1974, kind of asked a timeline of where I've lived in my life and how I ended up in Atlanta. So I'm not going to go in deep detail of that, but briefly, born in South Carolina, only lived there as a child. Most of my life spent in the eastern part of Georgia, around where my parents currently live and my younger sister Victoria. So when you see me in those different areas of the country visiting them, that's the general area that I grew up in. Went to high school there, went to college there, etc. My initial career was in academics. I was a teacher for a while, school administrator, different things like that. Coached some sports, that kind of thing. I did that for almost a decade. And at the tail end of that is when I completed my graduate degree. During that time, I lived all across kind of the eastern and central part of Georgia, depending on where I was working at a given time. Basically, anywhere I've lived has been dictated by what my job is at a given time. So most of my life spent in Georgia. When I completed my master's degree, if you've heard me talk about this before, I funded a great deal of that by selling off part of my original collection, Ninja Turtles, or really all of it, almost all of it, to pay off tuition costs, etc. The original vintage Ninja Turtles collection that I had at that time. So at that point, having a master's degree, transitioning out of education, and now my master's is in I have a master's of business management. I decided to move to a larger city in Atlanta, because you typically need to live in somewhere larger than I live to get a career opportunity that degree would afford. So my older sister had already moved there for college and had lived there for some time, so I had family there, and that made the most sense for me to move there. Now, I haven't been in Atlanta since that point. That would have been around 2011. I actually then, when I started with the company I'm with now, I lived in Alabama for a period of time. I lived in Oklahoma for a period of time, then moved back to Atlanta. All of that, again, driven by career opportunities that I've taken. So that's kind of a timeline. I've been back in Atlanta since late 2014, and hopefully we'll be there for the foreseeable future. But again, things can change pretty dynamically, and change doesn't bother me. I can go with the flow pretty well. So it's kind of a timeline of places I've lived, primarily the southeastern United States, with the exception of Oklahoma. So now, why do I travel? What do I do for a living currently? So I'm not going to go into a lot of specifics on the interwebs here, but I work for a technology company that you would all recognize the name if I said it. And I am basically what you would think of as a relationship manager with one of our accounts. It's management consulting is the broader term if you want to look up what that means. But ultimately, I oversee approaching 500 employees all over the country, and we are working for a major client of ours that you would also recognize that client's name. And we're doing various work in the digital space, in the technology space. I'm not going to go into a lot of details, but we are located in, some 80 or so cities across the country where I have folks working. I also have a national team myself that reports directly to me, as well as all those folks that are ultimately I'm responsible for. So I travel a lot because I have all those folks that are technically working for me that are on my team, and I like to visit, see how everybody's doing, make sure they have what they need, find out if there's areas of opportunity that we can improve on, whatever the case may be. And being that it's so spread out over so many cities requires a lot of travel. I've been in a role like this, not this role, but for different accounts and stuff for several years. So I've been traveling like this on the road for about 3 years now. And it is hard, it's challenging, it's exhausting, but you get used to it and it just changes the way you live, really. So that's what I do for a living. And then that was from both Scott and Yoshi asked for that. Now third, Tyler asked, kind of a more fun question for this, rub it, ace. What figures am I looking for on my travel? So as you see, if you watch Dub Life, if you watch my hunt videos, the great benefit of traveling so much is in the evenings or, whenever, lunch break or things like that, I can often find cool stores to go to. I feel like I've been to some of the best toy stores in the United States, or at least the ones I know of, and I really enjoyed going to those. So I get to find things out in the wild that most people don't get to because I see so many in a given period of time. So there are some that I'm specifically looking for. One is a statue by Iron Studios. It's from Guardians of the Galaxy 2. It's the Rocket. He's up on a tentacle as a little baby Groot. And it has I think it's called the obelisk. It's the mouth of that creature. If you remember in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they're fighting that creature. I have the others from that. I could buy the Rocket and the Groot on the tentacle, but there was a deluxe set that came with the mouth. That's the centerpiece to the statue set. I have not been able to find it. And there's only every once in a while one on eBay, and it's like $500. And that's a big no for me. Hey, touch it. So I'm looking for that. There are 3 SH figure arts. They're all Iron Man figures. Mark 45 from Age of Ultron. Mark 46 from Civil War. Mark 47, which is going to be the real hard one to find. That's from Spider-Man Homecoming, where he's silver. And it was part of a homemade suit 2-pack. That Iron Man and that homemade suit Spider-Man 2-pack only released in Japan, I think. And it's crazy expensive. And so I'd love to find it somehow loose by itself, but that may be unobtainable. The other 2 are attainable. I mean, you can find them, pretty regularly, but I would like to find them in person. The one main hot toy I'm looking for is Red Skull from the first Captain America movie. The ones you find on eBay sometimes are not complete because it has 2 entirely different ways you can give it an appearance. No editing, so you get to watch that now. Ooh. And then 2 Mezcos, the Mezco Deluxe Joker that I missed out on last year somehow, and the Mezco Classic Red Skull. Those are the main things I'm looking for. There's a bunch more. Anyway, I gotta go give you an overview. It is 7:51. I'm gonna start working here about 10 minutes. I got email for an hour. I got a demo that we've got to work through on a conference call for 90 minutes after that. Then one of my teammates and I are doing a site visit the rest of the day here in Chicago. And that'll keep us busy for the rest of the day. So visiting, I think, 15 of the folks that I talked to you about that I'll see here in a little while. So that gives you an idea. Anyway, thanks for watching Daily Dub. A little longer than I want it to be, but I wanted to cover a few of those topics. If you want to know something, ask something, whatever, leave in the comments. I'll read them all. I'll respond to them. I'll make a list, and I'll try to comb through all those lists as the episodes progress. Anyway, thanks for watching now, and squeeze it.